I'm Zahir, Kelvin Abdullah, and this is Nightline. The top stories. Government stands firm in trade talks with the US. Israeli ceasefire violation kills over 100 Palestinians. Good morning. We begin the bulletin with this story. More than 100 Palestinians, including 46 children, have been killed in the latest Israeli strikes on Gaza. The attacks occurred despite the Palestinian group Hamas pledging to uphold the agreed ceasefire. The strikes claimed at least 104 lives and left 253 others injured over a span of about 12 hours from Tuesday to Wednesday. One of the latest strikes targeted a tent sheltering displaced residents in Deir el-Balah, central Gaza. It also targeted homes, schools and residential buildings across Gaza, including Gaza City and Beit Lahia in the north, Burej and Nuseirat in the center, and Khan Yunis in the south. In Burej refugee camp, an airstrike killed 5 members of the Abu Shahra family, while another strike on a vehicle northwest of Khan Yunis claimed 5 more lives. Meanwhile, 4 people were pulled from the rubble of the Al-Bana family home in Gaza City's southern Sabra neighborhood. Earlier, U.S. President Donald Trump said nothing would jeopardize the ceasefire in Gaza despite Israel's airstrikes on the Palestinian territory. He stressed that the U.S.-backed ceasefire in Gaza remains in place.
Do you think does that worry you about the ceasefire? Does that jeopardize the ceasefire?
No, nothing's going to jeopardize.
Meanwhile, Hamas on Tuesday said the planned handover of the body of an Israeli captive will be postponed due to Tel Aviv's ceasefire violations. The group's armed wing, the Qassam Brigades, in a statement said its fighters had discovered the body earlier in the day during search operations inside a tunnel in southern Gaza. It also warned that any escalation of Israeli attacks in Gaza would hamper search and recovery efforts to retrieve bodies. Hamas had planned to transfer the remains of an Israeli body at 8 p.m. local time under the ceasefire deal. The government has remained firm in defending Malaysia's sovereignty and national interests in its trade negotiations with the United States. Investment, Trade and Industry Minister Datuk Seri Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz said the nation's trade negotiators had never wavered on key red line issues, particularly those involving Bumiputra rights, government procurement policies and restrictions on full equity liberalisation in strategic sectors such as energy and telecommunications.
Kalau ada yang mendakwa, kononnya kita jual negara, saya cabar mereka tunjuk satu klausa yang melanggar atau melepasi garis merah ini. Ya, satu pun tiada.
During his ministerial briefing in the Dewan Rakyat, Tengku Zafrul reiterated that the government has never conceded on such issues simply to yield more favourable terms, but instead remains guided by the principles of dignity and sovereignty in all trade engagements. Zafrul said Malaysia was left with little choice but to enter negotiations.
Jika perjanjian ini tidak dimuktamadkan, besar kemungkinan kadar tarif akan menjadi lebih tinggi dan sekaligus akan menjejaskan daya saing ekspor Malaysia ke pasaran Amerika Syarikat. Siapa yang akan menanggung beban ini nanti? Siapa yang akan menanggung rugi dan gulung tikar? Syarikat kita juga. Ya, siapa yang akan kehilangan kerja dan punca pendapatan? Rakyat Malaysia juga.
After extensive negotiations, Malaysia on Sunday successfully secured a trade agreement under which the US agreed to maintain a reduced tariff of 19%, the lowest among ASEAN nations. The deal also grants zero tariff exemptions for 1,711 Malaysian products, particularly in the electronics, rubber and palm oil derivative sectors, while the US gains greater access to Malaysia's industrial markets in return. Meanwhile, Dewan Rakyat Speaker Tan Sri Johari Abdul warned members of parliament against insulting civil servants amid a heated exchange on the reciprocal trade deal with the United States. The warning came when some MPs began to shout as Tengku Zafrul was speaking on the deal.
Take my word for this. Siapa-siapa juga sama belah sini atau belah sini yang menghina pejabat awam, I will take action. Jangan komen lagi, dengar dulu. Jangan sebut, jangan kutuk, jangan. You nak tanya menteri, menteri kita tidak puas hati terhadap itu lain. Jangan hina pejabat awam, period.
In his speech, Tengku Zafrul thanked civil servants involved in the negotiation process that took 18 months to complete and expressed disappointment at some lawmakers who mocked the efforts of those involved. Johari said while MPs were free to question or criticize ministers, he would not allow civil servants to be insulted in the Dewan Rakyat. Johari added that there had been lawmakers who insulted the Chief Secretary to the government in the past, once again reminding MPs not to do so. Now, Malaysia is set to emphasize the importance of inclusivity in strengthening supply chains at the APEC Economic Leaders Meeting in South Korea. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim will be at the forefront, leading Malaysia's delegation to the summit. Afrina Romzi has the story from Gyeongju, South Korea.
During a media briefing, Malaysia's ambassador to South Korea, Datuk Muhammad Zamruni Khalid, confirmed that the Prime Minister would be attending the APEC Economic Leaders Week from October 31st to November 1st. He will deliver Malaysia's statement at the APEC Economic Leaders Informal Dialogue with guests, which carries a theme towards a more connected and resilient region for the future.
Perdana Menteri akan menekankan kepentingan keterangkuman dalam pengukuhan rantaian bekalan, pembangunan ekonomi digital dan kerjasama serantau demi pembangunan mampan dalam kenyataan beliau.
He also expressed confidence that Malaysia's success at the recent 47th ASEAN Summit will be carried forward into the APEC Leaders Meeting.
And I'm sure with the success of ASEAN Summit, it will carry through in the AELM. And we hope some agreements on in relation to bilateral, in relation to trade intra APEC will be increased.
This also marks the Prime Minister's second working visit to South Korea. Malaysia and South Korea previously elevated their bilateral ties to a strategic partnership. APEC remains one of Malaysia's major trading partners, accounting for 78.1% of Malaysia's total trade in 2023. From the ASEAN Summit to APEC, Malaysia is not just participating, but advancing an inclusive economic cooperation agenda. This to ensure that the regional trade benefits the people, while strengthening the country's role in Asia-Pacific. Afrina Romzi, TV3, Gyeongju, South Korea.
Moving on. The 9-year-old boy who slashed his 6-year-old brother with a knife is believed to have acted under the influence of an online video game. Johor Police Chief Dato' Abdul Rahman Arsad said initial investigations indicated that the boy had been obsessively playing the game before allegedly attacking his brother. He added that the boy had been playing the game extensively on his mobile phone before his younger brother accidentally damaged his device, causing him to lose the points he had accumulated.
Daripada siasatan awal, daripada soal siasat yang kita buat, abang dia ni mungkin daripada kesan permainan game ini, dia mengalami macam halusinasi waktu malam. Dan ada seolah-olah dia ni disuruh untuk mencederakan ahli keluarganya.
The victim is currently receiving treatment at Sultanah Nora Ismail Hospital for neck injuries and stab wounds to the body and is reported to be in stable condition. The two siblings have now been placed under the care of the Social Welfare Department. Meanwhile, police have also remanded the victim's parents for 2 days to assist in case investigations. The two were detained on Tuesday at the Batu Pahat District Police Headquarters. Magistrate Noura Sidah A. Rahman issued a remand order for the 41-year-old couple, which will remain in effect until Thursday. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code and the Child Act 2001. The couple's lawyer, Muhammad Izwan Ishak, said the remand was necessary as information from the victim suggested that both suspects were involved, warranting further investigation. He added that there were inconsistencies in the statements given by the two suspects during police questioning. In the 5:30 a.m. incident on Monday, the boy was found seriously injured after his mother discovered him bleeding from a neck wound. The Malaysian Esports Federation, or MESF, will soon introduce digital safety guidelines for online games in a move to safeguard children from unhealthy gaming habits. The guidelines, to be rolled out with industry stakeholders, will include clearer classifications on game suitability based on age categories to help parents and guardians determine safe gaming limits. MESF President Muhammad Naim Al-Amin Saharuddin said the initiative was among several measures agreed upon during a recent meeting with Youth and Sports Minister Hannah Yeoh and representatives from an online gaming company. He said the discussions revolved around growing concerns on children being exposed to online predators, cyberbullying, gaming addiction, exploitation, and inappropriate content due to a lack of parental supervision.
Kita akan keluarkan kita punya guideline, garis paduan kita, dan selepas itu kita akan berhubung dengan MCMC untuk kita melihat akta mana yang sesuai untuk kita gunakan supaya kita dapat menyekat konten-konten game yang tidak berapa sesuai untuk kita tontonkan di negara kita lah.
Although some online titles fall outside the esports category, Naim stressed that the MESF would still play a key role in curbing unhealthy behavior and risks among young players. Fugitive businessman Datuk Sri Muhammad Adlan Berhan is believed to be travelling abroad using an alternative passport. The son-in-law of former Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin is wanted by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission for alleged criminal breach of trust. According to MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki, Adlan's Malaysian passport has been revoked by the Immigration Department and cannot be renewed. Based on his lavish lifestyle recently highlighted by the New Straits Times, investigators suspect Adlan owns assets overseas.
Jadi bagi masa pada kami untuk mengesan harta-harta beliau di sana, dan satu juga lagi, walaupun kita mengesan harta tetapi dia mesti adalah kaitan dengan kes kita siasat.
Azam further confirmed that the MACC's investigation into Adlan's case has been completed and the matter is now awaiting prosecution. Police earlier announced that a warrant of arrest has been issued against Adlan and that a request has been made to Interpol to assist in locating him. On another matter, the MACC said it is open to investigating any allegations of corruption or misappropriation involving KLIA's Aerotrain project if a report is lodged. According to Azam, so far the Commission has not received any formal complaints on the matter.
Jangan semua kesalahan nak letakkan bahu kepada SPRM. Jadi kesalahan-kesalahan ini mungkin satu perkara berkaitan dengan isu tata kelola dan sebagainya. Jadi kalaulah ada sampai pada kami akan tengok sekiranya di bawah bidang kuasa kami under our jurisdiction. So surely we will investigate.
On Monday, Transport Minister Anthony Loke ordered the Land Public Transport Agency, APAD, to open an investigation paper into MAHB. This comes after a series of incidents and service disruptions involving the Aerotrain since it resumed operations on July 1st, including the latest breakdown early on Monday morning. The service has since resumed operations on Tuesday. The impact of the overnight policy rate, or OPR, reduction in July is expected to continue supporting the nation's economic growth into next year. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said households and small and medium enterprises, SMEs, have also benefited from lower loan repayment commitments. In a written parliamentary reply on Wednesday, Anwar said the contraction of the OPR to 2.75% has begun to show its effects within the banking system. He explained that reference interest rates such as the standardized base rate and the base rate have been fully adjusted in line with the reduction. Anwar, who is also Finance Minister, said households and SMEs with floating rate loans are now enjoying lower loan repayment amounts, with those applying for new loans set to benefit from reduced financing costs. He added that this development will enhance borrowers' spending capacity and support business activities. For households and SMEs facing financial strain, Anwar said the government continues to provide various assistance programs. These include facilities under Bank Negara Malaysia's financing schemes for SMEs, targeted loan repayment assistance by banks, and financial advisory services. Malaysia continues to enhance its economic relations with China under the Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI, to support the nation's growth agenda. Deputy Finance Minister Lim Hui Ying said bilateral trade increased from 181 billion ringgit in 2012 to 484 billion ringgit last year. She said the East Coast Rail Link, or ECRL project, is a clear example of how the BRI is driving development along the nation's industrial and logistics corridors. Lim added that the focus is now on high-value industries such as electronics, semiconductors, automotive and aerospace to attract more strategic investments. Malaysia also sees great potential in green energy and digital innovation, in line with efforts to position the nation as a future economic hub in the region. US President Donald Trump said Washington has pretty much finalized a trade deal with South Korea following talks with President Lee Jae-myung on Wednesday.
And we had a tremendous meeting today with South Korea. I think the meeting a lot was determined, very much determined. And we made our deal. We pretty much finalized a trade deal. And we discussed some other things having to do with national security.
Meanwhile, Seoul confirmed a broad agreement had been reached. Top presidential aide Kim Yong-byom said both sides agreed to keep reciprocal tariffs at 15% and to lower auto and auto parts tariffs from 25% to 15%. He also announced a $350 billion South Korean investment package for the U.S., including cash inflows and shipbuilding cooperation.
This was a great meeting today. We had a fantastic.
6 hectares of forest land scorched in Shah Alam. All this and more after this briefer.
Warga Pulau Pinang, anda bertuah kerana Karnival Jom Heboh membawakan larian santai Jom Heboh yang julung kali diadakan. Jom bersama selebriti dan personaliti media prima untuk larian santai 5km yang menyeronokkan. Bukan hanya berlari, ada beg hadiah dan cabutan bertuah menanti anda selain kemeriahan di Karnival Jom Heboh. Ceriakan pagi Ahad bersama larian santai Jom Heboh, Ahad 9 November di Stadium Negeri Pulau Pinang, Batu Kawan. Untuk penyertaan, layari media sosial Jom Heboh Official di Instagram, Facebook dan TikTok. Jom kita lari bersama-sama.
Tanah runtuh yang kedua tu yang ngerilap. Saya tinggal saya tu rumah, dia tak ikut hanyut pergi arah sungai. Masih bau hanyir, dia punya darah jalan.
Tiba-tiba saya terdengar dentuman macam luruh yang amat kuat.
Sistem interlock menunjukkan signal gelombang gempa bumi.
Setakat ini yang dijangkakan kita boleh sekuat 5.5. Bersangka buruk dia tidak baik.
Kutuk-kutuk pada depan.
Lalu kena kecam dengan netizen.
Jangan main fitnah je netizen.
Kalau berani buat lah.
Gaduh.
Tak, bukan.
Saya pun nervous juga.
Kita pun dah happy ending. Jangan lupa saksikan Melodi setiap hari Khamis pukul 9 malam di TV3.
Dan stream juga kali tonton.
Bila orang hina isteri you langsung tak bela.
Cukup dah! Aku dah stres dengan kau ni! Aku dah stres!
Sepanjang saya kahwin dengan dia, dia seksa jiwa dan harga saya yang ada. Sebab tu saya kata dia narsisis.
Saya berdosa tahu suruh orang cerai.
I tak suruh dia cerai pun. I akan tuntut cerai. Bagus. You sebenarnya nakkan Mila tu because of her talent or you nak try dia?
Terima je lah apa yang mahkamah dah putuskan.
No, dia bukan sehari bukan seminggu tau.
I want you to be my lawyer untuk kes cerai tu. Boleh kan?
Well, up to you.
I rasa at this point tak guna untuk kita pertahankan lagi rumah tangga kita, okey? You fahamkan maksud I? Sebenarnya saya nak cari kebenaran. Mempertahankan hak saya bukan saja perempuan tapi juga sebagai seorang isteri kepada dia.
Kita orang yang gila dengan kau yang gila. Kau ingat balik apa yang bapa kau dah buat pada keluarga kita orang.
You know that I need you, right?
Bayar sewa, bayar apa semua pakai duit saving. Pernah lah sebulan lebih tak ada air. Kita orang sampai putus beras. Tak ada benda nak makan. Sampai beli kuah dal dekat kedai RM1. Mamak tu kata nak buat apa bang? Dia kata nak makan. Bini nak makan dengan roti.
Saya memang sedih lah. Nak marah pun ada. Sebab saya tak boleh nak bahagiakan keluarga saya. Dengan keadaan saya sakit macam ni. Isteri sakit, anak sakit kan.
Welcome back. A fire scorched about 6 hectares of forest land within Taman Perdana Heights in Shah Alam, Selangor on Wednesday. State Fire and Rescue Department Assistant Director Ahmad Mukhlis said they were alerted of the blaze at around 4:15 p.m. A team of firefighters from the Bukit Jelutong Fire Station was deployed to the scene, assisted by personnel from the Kapar and Sungai Buloh fire stations. Firefighters managed to bring the blaze under control at around 6:05 p.m., with more than 80% of the affected area extinguished. An investigation is underway to determine the cause of the fire. In Perak, 5 teenagers pleaded guilty at the Kuala Kangsar Magistrates Court on Wednesday to charges of riding their motorcycles in a dangerous manner. The 5, all aged 17, entered their pleas after the charges were read before Magistrate Muhammad Shazmir Zamhari. The accused were arrested after allegedly performing stunts and blocking an ambulance on the North-South Expressway at around 3:15 p.m. on October 19. The offence, framed under the Road Transport Act 1987 and the Child Act 2021, carries a maximum jail term of 5 years and a fine of between 5,000 ringgit and 15,000 ringgit. The court granted bail of 1,500 ringgit each, pending a moral behaviour report from the Social Welfare Department before sentencing. Magistrate Muhammad Shazmir also fixed January 5th for case mention. On Tuesday, police confirmed that all 5 were detained in Bukit Mertajam, Pulau Pinang on Monday. The arrests were made after a viral video showed them riding motorcycles dangerously and obstructing an ambulance on the North-South Expressway. In Selangor, 133 individuals, including 7 foreign nationals, were charged at the Petaling Jaya Magistrates Court on Wednesday for offences related to their alleged involvement in unlicensed gambling activities. All 133 claimed trial to the charges. 90 of the accused were charged before Magistrate Amira Sariati Zainal, while the remaining 43 pleaded not guilty before Magistrate Shahril Anwar Ahmad Mustafa. The charges were framed under the Common Gaming Houses Act 1953 and Section 120B of the Penal Code. The court granted bail of 6,000 ringgit each with one surety and set January 16 for case mention. The 133 accused were arrested during a special operation dubbed Op Dadu Mega, conducted around Damansara and Subang Jaya earlier this month. Nine people killed as record rains lash Vietnam. The details when Nightline returns.
난 말이야. 약점 많은 사람들이 제일 좋더라.
야, 영란아, 김영애!
회장님, 제가 뭘 해드리면 될까요?
우리가 덧치려고 기다리는 거야.
혼인신고? 이거라. 거짓말은 나쁜 게 아니잖아요.
Kita nak tahu macam mana? Yelah, takkan nak biar dia keluar macam tu je. KL ni bahaya.
Dah tahu bahaya, kau pergilah balik.
Apa dia kau? Tak, maksud aku...
Dia memang betul ke ayah Syawal?
Walau macam mana sekalipun, dia mesti ikut ustaz balik kampung.
Kalau kau nak duduk lama kat sini, kau kena berbaik dengan aku. Sebab kunci kat sini aku yang pegang.
Bintang di Langit Syawal setiap Isnin hingga Khamis 10 malam di Samarinda TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Aku takkan berhenti hancurkan hidup kau selagi hidup kau tak hancur.
Dia hanya gunakan awak untuk jatuhkan saya.
Ayah dah tahu Kak Sarah sebenarnya jahat.
Perempuan tu, isteri kesayangan ayah tu yang sebar dengan semua ni. Awak yang heret kami semua dalam masalah awak.
Lupa ya? Siapa yang tolong dulu?
Takdir Cinta Terlarang, Minggu akhir, Isnin hingga Khamis 7 malam di Akasia TV3.
Wanita hari ini.
Letih bukan letih fizikal tapi jiwa yang letih, Farin.
Apa puncanya dan bagaimana merawatnya?
Sawadikap, bagaimana Thai kami bawakan.
Ada Pad Thai, Tom Yam, daging harimau menangis dan banyak lagi.
Tak salah nak ubah gaya hidup.
Lebih baik hidup dengan cara kita sendiri.
Apa yang anda tahu mengenai kanser payudara?
Perkongsiannya bersama kami.
Manuku lelaki.
Aduhai takutnya.
Nak tahu kisahnya bersama kami di Wanita Hari Ini TV3?
Stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Wanita hari ini.
Masa bersalin tak ada apa-apa. Bulan kedua lepas bersalin tu, tiba-tiba tak nampak. Pergi balik pakai mata, kat emergency tu dia cakap urat mata burst sebab bersalin kan.
Saya memang sedih lah. Nak marah pun ada sebab saya tak boleh nak bahagiakan keluarga saya dengan keadaan saya sakit macam ni. Isteri sakit, anak sakit kan.
Akak mula sesak nafas. Doktor cek. Doktor confirm mungkin ada masalah bawah pinggang.
Memang kita tak minta lah kan nak jadi macam ni, tapi redha kita. Musibah apa orang kata ada. Mungkin ada hikmah di sebaliknya lah kan. Betul, saya kadang marah pada diri saya. Kadang tu saya kadang tak boleh nak kontrol perasaan saya.
Akak minta semua yang kenal akak doakan agar akak rezeki sihat. Panjang umur, biar anak-anak boleh berdikari. Kita tahu kita sakit ni bila-bila masa Allah akan ambil.
The foreign front, India was set to repatriate 500 of its citizens from Thailand after a crackdown on a scam hub in Myanmar prompted workers to flee across the border. Thai Prime Minister Anutin Chanvirakul said on Wednesday that the Indian ambassador will meet with the head of immigration to discuss expediting the legal verification process for the 500 Indian nationals before their return flight to India. Anutin, however, did not say whether the Indian nationals were being treated as criminals or victims. This comes as the Myanmar military launched a series of raids on the KK Park cybercrime compound last week, forcing a large number of people, mostly foreign nationals working there, to flee into the Thai border town of Mae Sot. At least 9 people were killed and 5 others remain missing after record heavy rains caused severe flooding in central Vietnam. The government on Wednesday said 6 of the fatalities were in Da Nang, home to one of the country's most popular beaches, and the ancient town of Hoi An. The floods have also inundated more than 103,000 houses, mostly in the country's top tourist sites of Hue Ai and Hoi An. Heavy rains continue to lash Hue Ai and Hoi An after rainfall in the area hit a record high in the 24-hour period ending late on Monday, exceeding 1,000 millimeters. Landslides were also reported in several areas, cutting off traffic and knocking down power grids. On to sports now. The Youth and Sports Ministry will decide its next move after FIFA announces its decision on the Football Association of Malaysia's appeal over the eligibility of 7 heritage players this Thursday. Minister Hannah Yeoh said the ministry will work closely with FAM and the Sports Commissioner to improve football governance and administration in the country.
Tetapi seperti yang saya katakan, kita tunggu keputusan dulu, kemudian kita bergerak. Kita kena ingat pasukan kebangsaan bukan sahaja 7 atlet tersebut, tetapi kita ada ramai lagi atlet bola sepak yang lain yang bergantung sangat kepada pimpinan dan pentadbiran bola sepak supaya semakin bertambah baik.
She stressed that the issue also affects the careers of players like Muhammad Faisal Abdul Halim and Arif Aiman Muhammad Hanapi, whose stars continue to shine. Previously, Johor Region Tunku Ismail Sultan Ibrahim said he believed it would be unlikely for FIFA to fully reverse the sanctions imposed on FAM and the 7 heritage players. Still on football, the Malaysia FA Cup. 2 more quarter-final second legs were concluded on Wednesday night. Sabah FC booked their place in the semi-finals with a 5-2 aggregate win after easing past Kelantan, the Real Warriors, 3-1. At the MBPJ Stadium, Selangor survived the scare but still progressed 6-3 on aggregate despite a 2-3 defeat to Negeri Sembilan FC in the return leg. Selangor, who had won the first match 4-0 in Paroi, were caught off guard as Negeri Sembilan struck twice early on. However, William Lira pulled one back just before the break. The visitors continued to press and added a third late in the second half, but Faisal Halim responded in the 87th minute to ease the pressure for the home side. The result means Selangor will face Sabah in the semi-finals of the Malaysia FA Cup. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look as archaeologists in southern Spain uncover a well-preserved 4,500-year-old burial chamber. With that, I'm Zahir, Kelvin, Abdullah. Thank you for watching and bye for now.